What is going on, guys? Um, I am back after, gosh, I think it's been like a week since I've been here. Regardless, I am back, guys. Time for some reaction videos. Okay. Get one pulled up. Alright, here we go.
So it's looking like parents on TikTok this school year are asking teachers not only to teach their kids everything they need to know, but to also pay out of pocket for everything that they're going to need as well.
Y'all just lazy. Y'all on this complain about school supply. You want the teacher to raise the baby, teach the baby. You want the teacher to buy back school clothes too? Teachers already don't get paid. Y'all, I'm telling you the warehouse jobs make more than teachers sometime, and I'm not.
Wait, let me read this. Parents deciding what school supplies the teachers should pay for so they can have enough money for the section at the club. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny, guys, or I have no idea. I'm not in school anymore, so yeah.
Sometime, and I'm not.
It is not our job to supply all other students with school supplies.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Emergency. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the school year. Yes, it is back to school season, our favorite time of year, where without fail, there's always some kind of discourse going on. Whether it's the fact that the kids are in fact not alright and not on grade level, whether or not teachers should be allowed to be filming TikToks in the classroom, to now where there seems to be some discourse and debate over who is footing the bill for school supplies. The parents, the teachers.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this
Yeah.
free satellite Earth Maps tool,
Yeah, I definitely want it.
you can zoom right down to your exact address in
I'm just playing, guys.
The school district, or I don't know, the kids themselves. And this is a really hot button issue when it comes to back to school season because money is such a sensitive topic, especially in times like these where money is a little tighter and supplies that used to be deemed as commonplace and very lowbrow now quickly becoming semi-luxury. And I know times are hard and things are expensive. We talk about that all the time on this channel. But I do still think it is wild for parents to go and point the finger back at teachers for asking parents to provide school supplies for their kids, and to then go forward and expect that of the teacher themselves to provide that for your kid. Like in a perfect world, yes, it would make sense that you send your kid to school and the school provides everything for them. But as we are very aware, we are not living in anywhere near a perfect world. In fact, we're living in a world where schools are severely underfunded, understaffed, and teachers as it is are overworked and undercompensated. So yeah, to reiterate, it is wild for parents to provide essential supplies for their kids or just being stingy and weirdly controlling over the stuff that they do give out. But before we start casting judgment for real, let's try and understand where each side is coming from here. And let's first turn to the parents' POV. And I gotta say, the pain point for a lot of this discourse is understandable. In times where everyday expenses are expensive enough, it is frustrating to have to allocate budget every August or September to provide school supplies every single year for your kids. And God forbid you have multiple kids, the bill does add up. Like, let's not pretend school, even public school, is inexpensive. Like, sure, public school is free, aka your taxes pay for it, but that just lets you walk in the door. Like, in order to learn, you need some materials, some supplies so that you can take notes, read a book, do your homework, have something to carry your things in, something to lock your locker with. Like, there are many school supplies every year. Like, there is a real cost to going to school every year. And I think one of the main questions posed by parents, and honestly everyone, is why school supplies are so expensive right now. According to a report from Intuit Credit Karma aimed at parents with school-aged children, 39% of respondents said that they can't afford their back-to-school shopping this year. In the same survey, 44% of respondents said that they plan to go into debt to cover the cost of school shopping. Like I said, this is a serious issue for people, and in a time where people are struggling to afford rent or mortgage, or to consistently put food on the table for families, something that seemingly arbitrary expenses like school supplies kind of seem exactly that. arbitrary when I already feel like I'm drowning trying to keep myself and my kids afloat as it is. Like on a base level, that sort of thinking is understandable. And no, you're not going crazy. Well, at least in this case, everything is getting more expensive. Shocker. I mean, not really. That's like not really
Getting more expensive? No, things are more expensive. I don't know what this dude is talking about, but
news at this point if you've been paying attention. Prices have been on the incline for years at this point. And this year, parents and teachers alike have all been.
they still are. Like, okay, this video probably came out like last month. Actually, no, it probably came out earlier this month. I don't know, guys, but yeah, things are, they're still up there in price, so, and they're not coming down, so
Feeling it. Like, just to get perspective over how inflation is going right now, backpacks used to be $12 4 years ago, and now they're nearing $16. And that's just on the low end. Prices for things like pencils are going up. Lord knows the prices for tech like laptops, tablets, headphones, calculators, and the like are all going up, which is putting an even greater strain on consumers, namely parents. CNBC is reporting that many school supply categories are at least 20% more expensive than they were pre-pandemic. And again, having this come at a time where parents are struggling to make ends meet, either financially, temporally, or both, this combo is a recipe for disaster.
$226 divided by the 180 days that my baby's going to be in school is $1.25 a day. And guess what? I went above and beyond on this list. She asked for 2 boxes of Kleenex. I'll get you 4. She asked for 1 ream of copy paper. Baby, don't worry, I got you 6. Then she had these wish list items. She wanted snacks, she wanted baby wipes, she wanted some small water and drinks for the kids. I am getting these teachers what they need, and I'm not labeling nothing, because if the teacher says she needs 3 glue sticks, she needs them 3 glue sticks plus some. And that is great. People are going to go, oh, you want a cookie? No, my cookie is knowing that my child is going to go to school, be well taken care of, and have the stuff that she needs for a successful school year. Wrap this conversation up.
So as a parent, seeing the school supply list that asks for things like 8 glue sticks, 3 to 4 packs of pencils, and other things that just seem like frivolous or excessive extra costs, I can see how it feels like you're being asked to foot a bill for stuff that you may feel like your kid doesn't necessarily need for their education. And we're going to get more into why that is when we go to the teacher's POV. But I think before we do that, we do have to talk about why prices are the way they are. And unfortunately, this is where we get a little bit real. It's time to talk about the big orange and green elephant in the room. The tariffs. The recent tariffs set off by the current administration have been one of the main contributors to buyer fears and price increases. Most of the tariffs that have been scheduled to take place at some point during the month of August impact goods coming in from foreign countries. And preemptively, a lot of these distributors have been raising their prices to counteract the loss in profits from these tariffs. Again, in case no one's told you by now, the consumer pays the tariffs. I mean, not literally pays the tariffs, but is paying the difference in price. And also, unfortunately for us, a lot of our products, especially products pertaining to school supplies, are manufactured and produced and imported and from other countries. Like, think about your backpacks, your calculators, your writing supplies, all, if not at least some of the products in your technology are made from other countries, which means
yeah, I kinda don't get that, but okay.
if not at least some of the products in your technology are made from other countries, which means that as the tariffs go through, the prices for those increase as well. And technology especially will be seeing price increases this month, as tariffs on microchips coming in from other countries are astoundingly high. Like, it really does seem like on all levels, the last of everyone's money is being squeezed out right now, and that's just really unfortunate. But like I said, it's being squeezed out of everyone, including teachers. And that's sort of the whole point that teachers are trying to make in this whole conversation. Personally, I'm never in the business of blaming teachers or educators, just in general, unless they are doing like some illegal and egregious stuff, because a lot of times for 9 months out the year, they got to put up with people's kids more than the people have to put up with their kids. And in the grand context of the argument that people are having right now of like, okay, I'm not paying for all these school supplies, why isn't the teacher paying for the school supplies for our kids? Well, actually, they already are. Actually, around 90% of public school teachers buy their school supplies out of pocket, which can total as much as $500. Like, this includes backup supplies for students, classroom decorations, snacks, toiletries, whatever would have you, to make the classroom experience as engaging as possible. And when you take into account the fact that the average starting public school teacher salary is around $46,000 a year, that is a pretty significant amount of money going out of their paycheck.
So imagine a bowling ball. So I know we're past this conversation because nobody's talking about it, but I just want to say how irritated I am at the parents who don't give school supplies. My mom, for the 10th, 12th year in a row, is sending out an Amazon wish list to all the family members so they can give supplies to her students.
So what these teachers in schools are asking of parents to provide are the things in addition to that to make sure that your individual student is taken care of. Like, sure, teachers might have maybe a handful of school supplies to give out as needed if a kid forgets or doesn't have supplies that day, but that's not going to sustain everybody for the entire school year. Like, you need your own supplies. And specifically in the context of this discourse, teachers have been receiving a lot of flack from asking so much of parents to provide for the class. Lists have gone viral online asking for things like 8 glue sticks, multiple boxes of tissues, and multiple packs of pencils, etc., etc.
Like a fun rug, a cool rug on the ground for him, nothing. I'm just praying that by Tuesday there's a little bit more fun.
An interesting bunch, because wasn't it so long ago that you guys were on this app complaining that school supplies were so expensive, you guys were not going to be getting extras, and that teachers essentially had to figure it out, and now you're coming onto the very same app and complaining that classrooms look boring, that there's no cute rugs? That's the deal breaker for you guys? A rug? Not having a cute rug? Not the school supplies.
And here's the thing. I think there's valid concern for parents to be like, girl, why does my kid need 8 glue sticks for the year? But then you have to realize, especially for the younger years, kids are kids and will either lose or dry out their glue and other materials.
So the parents are online crashing out about school supplies again, like they do every year. And so I am here to show you that you actually don't have to spend $500 on notebooks, pencils, and paper, okay? Some of your school supply lists end up so expensive because you're allowing your 6-year-old to tell you that they refuse to carry anything except for a $175 book bag. So between Walmart and Dollar Tree, you know how much my total was? Do you know what the total was?
$175 bag. Where does a 6-year-old even get that from? Like, either their parents or like a elder family member, because like, I don't know, it's just stupid to me. Like a 6-year-old carrying. Yeah, guys.
$25 book bag. So between Walmart and Dollar Tree, you know how much my total was? Do you know what the total was? $46.82. Go get the damn baby's school supplies.
Like, I think a major oversight in this conversation is the fact that like these lists that teachers are making aren't just arbitrarily thrown together. Like, teachers are teachers for a reason. They've been in the field for a number of years, so they generally have an idea for the brands that work the best and last the best, as well as which supplies students tend to lose, forget, break, whatever what have you throughout the school year. So a lot of times these school supply lists is a suggestion for like everything that you're gonna need for the entire year. Whether or not you're paying for it all up front right now or paying for it throughout the school year as your kid loses stuff, as your kid breaks stuff, whatever what have you. This is the general list for how many supplies a student goes through in this class or in this school for a school year, based on the numbers and observations of the past years. And I think this is a part of the conversation that like people aren't really acknowledging. Like, nothing is going to happen for like, at least generally, if you don't have every single thing to the exact quantity during the school year. Like, your kid just needs enough to get by for the time being. And if you need to buy more school supplies later, you can do that. The list is just a list of all the things that they're going to need ever. And again, it's not fair to ask teachers to pay for that because they're already paying a lot for your kid. They're already doing a lot for your kid. And teachers in this case aren't the issue. The common denominator here and the issue here, y'all aren't gonna like this, I'm sorry. This is the quiet part that no one wants to say out loud, but this really isn't a teacher versus parent debate. It's the current education system versus the government and capitalism.
It is not our job to supply all other students with school supplies. We pay taxes for that. The school should be funded to supply pencils and erasers and construction paper. Why are we supplying 4 boxes of tissues, 2 cans of Lysol spray? Like,
hey, if you live in one of these cities right here, why don't you own an apartment building? Seriously, let me show you a path that could absolutely.
And now I know this is where I lose a lot of people, I'm sorry. Neither parents or teachers are fully in the right or wrong, because at the end of the day, the needs for both of them just aren't being met via these systems they are a part of, and are both stemming from the common issues of the lack of money and resources provided to them in their community. Like, neither parents or teachers are provided what is actually needed for for a comfortable and productive school, work, or family environment. Your average parent and teacher aren't making enough, prices for things are getting too high, and school systems by and large are just generally underfunded to provide for the students themselves outside of free meals. And even then, that's a stretch for some school systems and is actively being fought against. Like, this is 100% an education issue as much as it is a money issue. Because as we all know, the state of education is already not the best. And the kids are actively not alright in terms of the quality of what they're learning and what they're able to learn. It just really seems like our country is committed to making getting a base level of education one of the most difficult things ever. I wonder why that might be. Like I've been saying before, school systems are drastically underfunded. Teachers aren't allowed to fail their kids for real and have to pass them on from grade to grade, whether or not they're actually on grade level or not. Teachers are dealing with increasingly large class sizes to the point where it's not conducive or sustainable to actual genuine learning. There are increasing restrictions over what students are able to learn, read, and do. And as we're seeing right now, it is more difficult to get a base level of actual school supplies that are required to get a solid education. And this isn't even addressing the behavioral and interpersonal issues that stem from schools these days from the students themselves. I do have a couple of videos talking about that specifically if you want to check out conversations around that. But I really think the most important part of this conversation and the unfortunate real losers from all this at the end of the day are the students. And I really hate to be but think of the children as but like, let's be for real. We can debate all day long. But at the end of the day, these students are the most important part of this conversation and are the ones that are going to be dealing with the consequences of whatever action comes out of all this. Like, if students aren't getting the supplies that they need, they're not going to be able to learn. And enthusiasm for school and for learning from students right now is already reaching all-time lows, and truly anything that disincentivizes the easy access to education for students is going to drastically hurt the chances of that kid learning. Like I said, most grade school level kids aren't on a reading level as is. Like, just as one example case, you have education scores in Florida hitting 20-year lows. And honestly, I don't know if anyone's really looking at Florida as being the leader in education for the country, but like, this all tells a story. We're currently in an education crisis in this country, and students really do need all the help that they can get. And this isn't necessarily an issue that can be fixed overnight, because unfortunately we can't just change the prices of things with the snap of a finger. But what we can do is adapt and try our best to provide for the next generation of learners. Whether that means sharing school supplies between friends that are going to the same school, buying discount versions of supplies that are on supply lists, reusing supplies from previous years, reusing clothes from previous years, or just generally scaling back on what's needed and only purchasing what the student needs for however many weeks or months, and continuously re-upping instead of making a bulk purchase all at once. And it's finally time for me to hit the unique community button for this video, because it's really time that we lean on each other and not go for each other's throats. Like, parents, please, we can find ways to be creative. If you think you're tired and at your wit's end, imagine how tired teachers are. While you're at work working away for your kids, teachers are also at work with your kids. And just as a final thing, I'll leave some links in my description to some resources for different funds, grants, and things like that that either you or someone you may know can apply for to help with school supplies or just affording school, whether that be for parents, educators, or college students. So yeah, be sure to check that out in the description below. I just gotta say, at the end of the day, it is the teacher's job to make sure that your kid is getting a fruitful education. However, it's not their job to play sugar parent.
Yep. Yeah, guys, I don't know what to say about, like, Gen Alpha guys without, like, without, you know, I don't know, guys, they're definitely a handful, and they will continue to be a handful over the next, I don't know, decade or so. Yeah, guys. Okay, let's see. Okay, clanker? What? Who says that? This is gotta be new. I never heard this word, guys.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And like, I'm a part of this generation, so like, this gonna be new to me, so let's see what Zoomers have done now.
Oh, it's ironic as that money is like Starlight, right? Oh, yeah. Jamal 3000, Clanker, Clickaboo, George Troy, Rosa Sparks.
What?
Martin Luther Clanker simulation.
Oh, you're overheating, are ya? With that big CPU fan, bullshit. Now, come on, George Droid. Looks like it's jail time for you, Rust Monkey. Mr. Droid?
This don't sound familiar to you? Hey guys, Subs Emergency and welcome back to my channel.
No, it does not.
Today we are here and we're talking about something that I never thought would actually be a topic of conversation on this channel, or just a topic of conversation at all. None of the following words I'm about to say were ever mentioned in the Bible, but robot racism is now a thing. By now you may have seen videos, tweets, texts.
What?
Posts, whatever, what have you online. Most of the time being skits or like jokey jokes, talking about some not too distant future where our kids bring home a robot partner and our reactions to that. And the gag here is that the reactions here are typically somewhere along the lines of non-approval in a way that is very reminiscent to the 1950s when it comes to things like interracial relationships. And sure, hee hee ha ha, the parallels are kind of funny. Like, it's all fun and games to talk about like these
That's just odd. Like that.
Hypothetical situations that may or may not actually end up taking place. But like most jokes or good fun memes on the internet, it's gotten weird. And that's because, for one, it's weird in general just to be joking about that era, because obviously at that time the parallels between white families not approving of interracial relationships between like a white and like any other race because of like not understanding or just like bigoted bias, and ultimately our generation when we are older having the same kind of outlook between what do I even call that, like inter-technological relationships between your kid and an AI robot. It's just strange because at that time parents and most of society was on the wrong side of history, blinded by bias and racism. And not saying this is going to be the case, this video is not meant to be like a AI rights video, because we know that's not what we do here on this channel, and I'm not saying that will necessarily be the case, but that's essentially the framework of the joke. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you know what you're doing when you're referencing like the old 50s aesthetic, having the traditional ways of like being problematic. Like, at that point it's just strange, and it gets even stranger when you see other videos of people out in the wild today using these types of jokes under the guise of like being problematic against AI and robots, when in reality it's just a way for you to be covertly racist. Like, it's so crazy that we've gotten to an era where today we're not speaking about marginalized communities, but rather taking the sentiment in the vibe of the oppressed words, phrases, and behaviors of those marginalized communities and turning that and using that against robots and AI as like the outgroup. And before we get further into this, I do want to acknowledge that like all of this is in no way as harmful as anti-interracial or racist rhetoric, but it's just still very weird and very odd that it's being framed as reminiscent of this sentiment. And I think it's important to contextualize this whole conversation in the real world as well. Looking back to where this whole trend started from, a lot of the jokes initially came about from these videos that would pop up on TikTok of these little robots roaming around different cities.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've definitely seen that video, so let me go to another video, guys. I'm gonna mention now, guys, that my episodes, they may or may not be long. It just depends on how many videos I want to react to. This is for Wednesdays only. Okay. Okay. We will be, or I guess I will be, reacting to 2 more vids, and then that will be it for today. So, alright guys.
Shopping is hard. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Get outfits you love without any of the hassle. First, tell us your style, sizes, and...
Is that adults today cling jealously to their childhood. They are all mentally ill.
They also love the escapism.
They're the weirdest people in the world.
Unresolved childhood trauma.
Before I start this video, I am not a Disney adult, nor will I ever will be. The only thing that, the only thing that I like about Disney are the movies. That is literally it, guys.
They are all mentally ill.
They also love the escapism.
They're the weirdest people in the world.
Unresolved childhood trauma.
It seems like Disney adults are one of the most hated groups of people out there, but why? If you're unfamiliar with what a Disney adult is, they're the grown-ups who vacation at Disney, collect the merch, and just honestly enjoy the magic that Disney provides. Although they get mocked as weird, cringy, and childish, the thing is, they're not hurting anybody. And in a world where there's crazy sports fans, people also feel like there can also be crazy Disney fans. In fact, there's a real reason why Disney adults exist, and in this video, we're going to be going through exactly that. Not only are we going to hear from the people who actually hate Disney adults, but we're going to hear from Disney adults themselves and see why they are the way they are. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe.
The problem is that adults today cling jealously to their childhood interests. They don't pass them down. They don't introduce a new generation to them. They hold on to them and say, no, this is still mine. This is mine. We are now in a season where we will begin to see more and more.
I'm going to let him speak. We're here to hear different perspectives. I am a theme park fanatic. I had my coaster count's 112. I love theme parks. I love the experience that they provide, and I'll get into why later on in this video as well. But off the bat, even the title, watch these disturbing Disney adults pretend to be normal. I don't understand this amount of pure hatred for people that are just minding their business, having a good time. I really don't. I don't, but let's continue and see what he has to say.
More and more videos featuring those disturbing and rather bewildering creatures known as Disney adults. We've discussed Disney adults on this show before, although from my memory, they have never made it into the daily cancellation. And somehow, this is an oversight that I aim to rectify today. It turns out I've canceled my own wife during this segment more often than I've canceled Disney adults. So the scales must now be balanced. And these people landed on my radar once again, thanks to a recent viral video. Now, technically, this is not a video from Disney World. This is from Universal Orlando, just 10 miles west of Disney. But the phenomenon captured in the footage is the same that is seen in any video of Disney adults. So here we see a crowd of people rushing through the gates of the at the grand opening of something called Epic Universe.
I know exactly what he's talking about, and
Epic. Oh my God. I can't even imagine this. Like a Alright.
Of the at the grand opening of something called Epic Universe.
I know exactly what he's talking about, and I'm sure he's going to play the clip, but off the bat, Epic Universe is insane. It has 5 different lands encapsulating from How to Train Your Dragon's land for the kids nowadays, but a Super Nintendo world for the adults. Even a haunted land and haunted rides for adults. There's drinking, there's alcohol everywhere. It's meant to be for everyone. And at this day, when it opened, I actually had friends that were there. Even I myself have been invited to events like this because we're content creators and we're showing what families can go to and what people can go enjoy. So
at Universal, Epic Universe, ChatGPT tells me, is a sprawling, immersive theme park that introduces 5 distinct worlds, each inspired by beloved franchises and original concepts. In the video world, the 5 worlds are based on Harry Potter, Super Nintendo, How to Train Your Dragon, and then 2 others.
Which off the bat, Nintendo we grew up with, Matt you grew up with, and Harry Potter grew up with, millennials grew up with, and even the Scary Land he didn't mention, but that whole Scary Land of like Frankenstein and all that, all older generations too.
So here's the crowd that showed up for the grand opening, and in the words of every clickbait bot account on X, tell me what you notice.
What do salespeople hate more than anything in the world?
CRMs. Yep. Well, Monday CRM.
Oh, this is it. Are you kidding? That is so hilarious.
Tell me what you notice.
Oh, this is it. This is it. Wow. This is great. Oh my gosh. Oh, no one's going this way.
Keep in mind, this is a bunch of content creators on opening day.
This is so cool.
That is. I don't even know what to say about that, guys.
Oh, I love this.
And this is in the Harry Potter land.
Wow. 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 This is crazy. Wow. Oh my. Wow. This is so cool.
The guy recording the video is very impressed. He's repeatedly exclaiming, wow, this is crazy, as he stares at a bunch of buildings. There's nothing remotely impressive about the buildings, but apparently it's the most awe-inspiring thing he's ever seen.
I don't understand why people are haters. There's a lot of things I don't understand, but I'm not gonna crap on it just because I don't understand it and I don't necessarily like it. To Matt, he's like, I don't understand why people are hipping and hollering over these buildings. They're engrossed, they're literally encapsulated in this theme world to Harry Potter. If you're a huge Harry Potter fan or you just love like theatrics and theming, it is amazing. It is impressive to be immersed in something like that. You're in Orlando, Florida, and you're outside and it doesn't even feel like you're in Orlando. Hence the term theme parks. People go and it's just the thrill of the escapism, like just being somewhere different. It's cool. So to a lot of people there, especially on opening day, those aren't just buildings that are just like, it's more than that.
The video does
Granted, yeah, I can kind of see that. I don't know, like, part of me is like, yeah, you haven't been to Disney or you know, any real amusement park. Here's the thing, I don't plan on going to Disney World, Disneyland. I don't care, I don't plan on going, and I'm definitely not like buying tickets if I do end up going. I'm just not gonna go, guys.
Opening day, those aren't just buildings that are just like, it's more than that.
The video does capture something crazy though, which is that the huge crowds of people running and skipping, and in one case actually jumping and clicking their heels as they descend upon the Harry Potter and Nintendo theme park, is comprised almost entirely of grown adults. There are maybe 3 or 4 kids visible in the crowd. The rest are adults who appear to be in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and sometimes older.
Because who grew up with Harry Potter and Nintendo? Who grew up with Harry Potter and Nintendo? This isn't rocket science. Because that crowd rushing in, you didn't see that at the How to Train Your Dragon's Land. There's a reason the How to Train Your Dragon's Land is literally meant for children, and these other areas are not. It's a theme park for adults and children, but there are some adult themed things there. Not 18 and plus, not like exclusively adults, but there's things that adults will get, and it's adult friendly, but it's also kid friendly. Like, it's not, this isn't that big of a deal.
One of the few parents who brought my child to the theme park grand opening on that day, excited to show them the How to Train Your Dragon ride, only to find that there's a 2-hour wait at the roller coaster because a bunch of people who graduated high school in the late 90s had gotten there before me.
And it's really not that deep. It doesn't have to be this hate-filled and centric. I'm here for the opposing views. Obviously, I'm openly biased to Disney adults and theme park adults and why they are the way they are, and I don't understand the hatred against it. Are there some weird people? Yes, there are.
I don't hate against them, like, at all. I just don't understand it. Probably never will, guys, but, yeah.
And I don't understand the hatred against it. Are there some weird people? Yes, there are. There's weird people anywhere. Any niche that exists, there are.
I don't think they're weird. God, I don't like seeing that. I don't think they're odd at all, but, you know, some people think that they are, and that's a part I really don't get. Like, why do other people think that Disney adults are weird? That literally makes no sense to me, but continuing.
Weird people? Yes, there are. There's weird people anywhere. Any niche that exists, there are weird people out there. But to crap on all adults who just enjoy Disney or enjoy theme parks to that matter, I do not understand, because they aren't hurting anybody. That if adults are minding their business and they're not hurting anybody, I don't understand why something is a big deal, especially when these areas are catered to them in a certain aspect. I don't get it.
So basically it just boils down to unresolved childhood trauma, and I'm using Walt Disney World as therapy as an adult. It also allows me an avenue where I can go and I can put my phone away and ignore the outside world and be in a bubble where I am basically eternally the happiest I'm going to be. It's therapy.
Hey, can you break this down for me?
Sure. The first step for using the quadratic,
and it's worth every penny.
And to me, that's perfectly fine. Matt Walsh is someone who has openly said Disney adults, they all have mental illnesses. Are there some Disney adults or people that enjoy theme parks that are using Disney and theme parks to help solve a little bit of their childhood trauma and relating it back to their childhood? Yes. Do some people want to call that mentally ill? Sure. But at the end of the day, what's wrong with somebody spending their adult money to go somewhere and have fun? Because even for me, I've loved theme parks ever since I was a little kid. Every summer was spent at a Six Flags park, like at least 5 times a summer. And it was so much fun and thrilling. And I just loved getting to escape the hell that was my childhood in some aspects. We've talked about it in different videos, but I was always outside because I didn't want to be home. And the times I was home, either on a game or hanging out with friends, but I never just liked the scenarios that I was put in. Going to these theme parks was so much fun. It was just, I don't know how to put it. It was just pure joy. And even as an adult now, with adult money, now I go and I buy all the VIP packages and whatever, and it's so thrilling. It's so much fun. It's so peaceful. I've gone to multiple theme parks alone. I'll just go alone early in the morning, ride some rides, and leave, because it's that much joy and that much fun. I just get to escape. I can put my phone away. I can relax. I can enjoy my time there, ride rides, get a pretzel, get a funnel cake, and have a good time. There's nothing wrong with adults utilizing Disney or a theme park to help solve or help aid some of the childhood traumas that they've gone through. I know for me, I'm waiting to experience Disney when I do adopt kids for myself, because for me, my first time at Disney World was very traumatic. I hated it. I absolutely hated it, because I went with my grandmother, who I have no relationship with, and when I was there, she didn't want to ride any rides. So I'm at Disney World, 7 years old, not getting to ride anything. As someone who loved roller coasters, who loved theme parks, I hated my time there. And I know later on, in about 5 years, when I do go back, it will be an emotional time for me, because it's like full circle. The last time I was here, I hated it, and now I'm here living my dream life with dream kids, and I'm able to give this experience to someone that I love. I cannot wait for that moment. I genuinely can't. So I don't know, this whole Disney adult argument and people absolutely hating Disney adults, it's never clicked to me, especially knowing how much other basic stuff is out there. No shade. This whole Love is Blind. Is it Love is Blind? Isn't that a show? Love Island. Love Island. That's what it is. I don't watch that show. I never have. I think it's absolutely weird to just watch people hook up, make out on TV for what? Sports. For what? You out here watching all these sports, paying your faces, and we'll get into sports later on in this video, but it's like, again, when grown adults are doing what they want to do with their own money and they're not hurting anybody, I don't understand the problem or hate towards them. It says, I've always loved being at Disneyland so much, and I recently figured out why I have such an obsession with being here. Because it's where she's happiest. So this woman is saying it's for her inner child. It's just to help bring back that joy and just that peace that she experienced as a kid, and that's perfectly fine. While some people may dub this as childhood trauma and relating it back to that, some people are just saying, hey, I'm just happy here. I came here all the time as a kid and I love going now as an adult. Or even as an adult, hey, I didn't have the childhood, we never had the funds to go and experience this, and I've always wanted to, but now as an adult I have money, so I can. There's multiple reasons why these adults are at Disney and they're allowed to be there. They can have their drinks, they can ride their rides, and go about their day. Reconnecting with your inner childhood is healing until something unexpected happens, especially if you get injured. But thankfully, if you do, you can check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Everything is free unless you win your case, which that alone blows my mind. But two, their lawyers, they don't play. Someone got offered $20,000, but after they started working with Morgan & Morgan, they got $120 million. This person right here got offered $16,000 pre-trial, but after working with Morgan & Morgan, they said, nah, I'm gonna need you to add a couple zeros to that. And I get it, a lot of us haven't had to go through something like this, but we all know fighting a big company means having a big law firm by your side. And if you end up working with Morgan & Morgan, they will fight to get you every penny that you deserve. It only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. You can do that by going to forthepeople.com/Amir. As you see here, you can receive your free case evaluation on a multitude of case types. And remember, when you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're not hiring just a lawyer, you're getting a dedicated legal team. Case investigators, paralegals, and a customer case specialist, all focus on maximizing your settlement. So if you ever got seriously injured, or I hope you're okay, you're injured right now, do know that your case could be worth millions and you're only a few clicks away from finding out and changing your life forever. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan by going to forthepeople.com/Amir or scanning the QR code here on the screen or tapping the link below. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Disney adults, they're the weirdest people in the world.
Now, do they only become like activated when they're in Disney World?
This is an active sports betting podcast talking about why Disney adults are so weird. Meanwhile, you spend all your hard-earned money betting it on other grown men running around a field with a ball.
At a Disney adult, it usually is a sign. There's a lot of people out there that get married at Disney World, proposed at Disney World. They dress up as Disney characters. I think Disney adults, their hobby becomes their personality traits because the rest of the world no longer accepts them.
So they find each other.
They have to find each.
Their hobbies become their personality traits. That sounds very familiar.
That's what they become.
Yeah, there is a phenomenon though of people that you think are just normal, everyday dudes and girls that walk amongst us, able to blend in, but the second they set foot inside the Disney theme park, they just change.
Yeah.
He said it himself, and that's honest. That to me, this is a red flag, because he just said there are just normal people in society who are able to just blend in, but like sometimes they just step into Disney and they just change. No, maybe this is how they really are. This idea that everybody should be normal and everybody should blend in, that's crazy to me. To a certain extent, yes, you should be.
Thanks to Restore, Primetime is back. This is my time. I didn't want to be bold any longer.
There should be a set of standards of what our society is, but that's more so like rules. Being nice to people, treating people with respect, having decorum. But this idea that everybody should be expected to be the same, no. But it's things like this that blow my mind, because these are the same people that like will say, oh, screaming at a TV over football is perfectly normal and fine, but someone screaming on a roller coaster is a creep or a weirdo. That it's inconsistent. You want to talk about what people should be normal and just blend in? No, that's not always the case. We are all different, especially when you're not hurting anybody. Again, I have no problem with these grown adults living their life and they want to do what they want to do, that's fine.
All right, I've gotten a lot of comments on my husband's man cave, so let's take a tour. First things first, here's a view of the full room. Sports bar or basement, yes, we have 5 TVs. A little excessive maybe, but it's really fun to watch games. And here's the scene of the crime from Sunday. Yep, that's his imprint.
This man put a hole in the wall. His whole basement is designed over a football. Yet things like this is just like, oh, it's just a man cave. oh, it's whatever. Oh, it's just Sunday night football, Sunday or Monday morning football, whatever hell time they play. It's just football. I'm someone that is sick and tired of these most mediocre trends and things being deemed as completely normal and acceptable in society, but then when someone else does something equally as deranged or equally as passionate, I should say, equally as passionate, now they're the problem. For example, I don't like Taylor Swift music at all. I don't understand it. I've tried to listen to it. I think I just don't like her music, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna crap on all the Taylor Swift fans out there, because they have the right to be this passionate about an artist. Like, that's fine. Some of them
Same. Honestly, I think the longest amount of time I liked her music was like a year, but like, nowadays, no, not at all.
go overboard, but you're allowed to scream and sing and dance at a concert the same way these men are allowed to scream around and prance around over another grown man throwing a ball. Again, it'd be nice if, as a society, we just let people have different hobbies and just that be it. How come if someone's obsessed with roller coasters or theme parks, they're weird? How come if someone's obsessed with weather, they're weird? But cars, perfectly fine. Sports, perfectly fine. We're allowed to have different hobbies. And just because we have different hobbies doesn't mean that they should have the right to be just crapped on 24/7. And like that last podcast that we were just listening to, reacting to, it's like these grown men have a sport. Your whole life is dedicated to talking about other grown men playing sports, but yet you're crapping on Disney adults so hard, saying they're so weird and they're just wrong and yada yada, this, that, and the third. Have you looked in the mirror? Just a question.
This post is about Disney adults, and I feel like Disney adults get a ton of hate. And although I love Disney, as an adult, I don't consider myself a Disney adult because some of the Disney adult people that I've seen, it's extremely cringe. But I've thought about this a ton too. Why do I love Disney? And it's not really my obsession with princesses or the stories or whatever. I think I love the parks because I love roller coasters, but I also love the escapism that Disney provides. Is that healthy? Probably not.
But it's fun. That's a big reason why. And she mentioned earlier in the beginning of this video that some of the people are cringe. Like I said before in the very beginning of this video, there are cringe factions of everything. I'm not gonna say that there aren't cringe Disney adults. There definitely are. But there's a lot of people who love theme parks because of how much, one, fun you can have there, but two, how you're just thrown into this new world and you're able to turn the world off for a little bit. As stressful as shit is in 2025, as much as we got going on in the world and everything's chaotic and people got bills and family drama and all the nine, you would think people having fun in a theme park, that's like, kudos to you. You are taking care of yourself.
About these parks and your Universal Studios as well is that they encapsulate you inside of the park so much and you can't see the outside world that you kind of forget about your current life, and it's the best escape, which is why we go on vacation a lot of times, is because we're trying to get away from the stresses of work and their daily routines and things like that. And I like it because I'm having fun riding roller coasters. I'm watching some stories that are fun. I'm eating really good food. And it's just something that I enjoy. And I don't see anything wrong with that. It's where you have an obsession with like princesses and wanting to meet the characters and things like that as an adult without kids. I do.
By the way, guys, like I said earlier, not a Disney adult, although I will say still love the Disney movie. And I'm not talking about the new Disney movies, I'm talking about like the ones from like the 2000s and maybe the 2010s. Guess it depends on which ones, but for the most part, the 2000s movies, the ones, 2020 and up. Nah, I'm good. I am good.
With like princesses and wanting to meet the characters and things like that as an adult without kids, I do think that's cringe and I don't understand that. But there's a reason that people like it, and I think it's okay to like as an adult in a healthy way. And we need to stop judging those people.
Yeah. Like, my whole life, I understand that there's a good chunk of men, or say right here, this chunk of men that love sports, and there's this chunk that's deranged. Like they'll paint their face, they're punching walls, they're just acting a fool. I've seen that my whole life, and I'm just like, that's crazy, but like, you do you. That's fine. I'm also not gonna make an entire video just be like, ew, all these crazy sports fans, they're freaking crazy. They need to be banned from society. They're freaking weird. Like, no, that's pointless. It's just hateful for no reason. It's why I would defend the furries. Are there some deranged furries out there? Yeah, but in my furry videos that we talked about, a lot of them just trying to mind their business, and they love being anonymous, that anonymous aspect of it. But that's them. But the same way there's a bunch of people who can appreciate sports, and that's just that, it's the same way there's a bunch of people out there, grown adults, who can appreciate Disney and Universal and all these theme parks, Six Flags, Cedar Fair, and have fun. And that's perfectly okay.
Disney adults are some weird people, man. I'm tired of not talking about it. I have to. These people are paying hundreds of dollars to go to these theme parks. I mean, look at the ticket prices.
If you or a loved one were sexually abused at these Illinois youth facilities or treatment centers,
Yeah, just gonna pause it for a minute so you guys can, you know, look at it. Yeah, it's, yeah, guys.
I Googled the wrong thing. I'm ignoring that. Seriously, though, these people go to these theme parks and dress up to go to the
Guess it was the wrong thing, but anyway.
theme parks like characters and stuff. Oh. Ugh. See, I Googled people dressed as Disney characters, and it showed me people dressed as Disney characters at a sporting event. Okay, moving on from that. But seriously, these people will wait hours for like a parade that's 10 minutes long. Ugh.
Come on now.
I got it. These people will go to a theme park and spend $10 on a Bud Light that you can get at a gas station for a couple bucks. A Bud Light. Listen, anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge sports fan. Like, my entire mood tonight will depend on if the Sixers win the game. And I also like going to theme parks. Like what you like, man, and forget what anybody else has to say about it.
Like what you want to like and forget what anybody else has to say about it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, advocating for some very decrepit things involving anyone that's not an adult. You're spending your own money. You're not hurting anybody. You're having fun. I don't see the problem with just doing what you want to do. I genuinely don't. From the Disney adults to sports fans, even to the furries, do what you want to do. You're an adult. I'm not going to crap on you for having fun and spending your money where you want to spend your money. I may not understand it. I may find some of it weird, but that's the kind of the joy what makes our world so unique and different, that everybody has different niches they like to be in, and that's acceptable, that's fine. But the hypocrisy and the double standard that we always see, that I personally always see from sports fans, drives me up the wall. Because my entire life I've never understood sports, but it's always the sports people who are always the biggest bullies. It's like, why? How come you get to be passionate about something? How come you get to scream and cry about something? How come you get to get this just filled with so much passion over these sports, but someone else can't over something else? Just because you don't like it, now you want to crap on it. This video was great. The parallels between that was awesome to see, because people are like, oh my gosh, you're standing in line to spend this much money at Disney. How much money do people spend on betting? Hello. How much money do people spend betting? But two, how much money are people spending on all the jerseys, on all the tickets, on all the events, like the flights, the hotels, the bars? Like, let's be so for real.
I can't stand betting, guys. I will never bet. I want to say I hated betting since like I was like 12, maybe 11. Oh no, since I was a kid, guys.
Let's be for real.
So I totally agree with Paloma on this. She said it's the Disney loving and Hello Kitty women at 30 to 40, something loving childish things that makes me like, why? I've always thought the same thing. Like, why are these grown-ass women obsessed with Hello Kitty? Like, for me, it's simply just giving childhood trauma. It's giving mom and dad never let you have a childhood. And now that you're an adult, you want to like relive your inner child. But y'all gotta admit that a 30 to 40-year-old grown-ass woman shouldn't be obsessed with Hello Kitty, let alone be obsessed with Disney.
I think a grown woman is allowed to like whatever she wants to like if she's not hurting anybody and spending her own money. Are some of these people really cringe and very like, okay, this is a little bit obsessive, this is kind of crazy? Yeah, but they have the right to do that. They have the right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not physically hurting anybody, then like, I feel like the person or the people hating on you for that, that's their issue. Like, if, oh boy.
Very list like, okay, this is a little bit obsessive, this is kind of crazy. Yeah, but they have the right to do that. They have the right to exist. They have the right to just be what they want to be. They don't need to stop. And yeah, there are some people who had very, very crappy childhoods and they made their way out of that and they became successful. And now they want to do the thing that they never were allowed to do. And that is joyous. That is monumental. That is awesome. That's something that I spend my time doing now all the time. You ask anyone around me right now, I've always said I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life right now. The happiest. Because I'm finally able to just be and do what I want to do. I've worked hard, continue to work hard. And it's fun. It's healing. It is a form of therapy for some people, and that's perfectly okay. If you have a grown woman, 30 or 40, that loves Disney, loves Hello Kitty, you do you. Especially when you got all these grown women and grown adults out here with them little demon dolls, some little boo-boos, the boochies, whatever the hell them things is. They're weird to me. I don't like them, but I'm not going to sit here and say they should be banned. But let's call a spade a spade. Like, if you want to sit here and talk about these Hello Kitty people are weird, the Labubu Labucci people are weird. Oh, these Disney adults are weird. Oh, the sports fans are weird. Okay, let's keep it a buck. The hypocrisy is out. The hypocrisy is what drives me up the wall, because it's like if the shoe fits, it fits. I'm sorry if I'm talking about you. And it's always these basic people who have the loudest opinions who don't even have the resources to do what the other people are doing that they're crapping on. Why are these people always at Disney World? It's so expensive. To you? To some people, Disney World's pocket change. To some people, they will save up years to go to Disney. Meanwhile,
AKA the rich and famous, you know, it's pocket change to them, because like, you know, they literally look at McLarens and Aston Martins and Ferraris and don't even bat an eye, because like, again, that's a little toy to them, you know, that's they can just pick it up, buy it, and boom, they're out. But you know, I want to say 80% of people in the US, at least, can't speak for everybody, but 80% of people in the US can't afford, you know, luxury cars. But yeah.
To some people, they will save up years to go to Disney. Meanwhile, you spend your $10 here on this, $10 here on this. That all adds up. We're allowed to do and explore and have fun and do what we want to do as grown adults.
What about f***ing Disney adults? F***ing Disney adults, I just don't get that one bit at all. I just don't understand why anybody would get married at Disney. I don't understand why they would.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you.
Go on their honeymoon to Disney.
Because they're great venues. One, a lot of their stories are love stories. So it's kind of like cheeky and ironic. Oh, they made all these love stories that I've aspired and looked up to, and now I'm getting married in front of the castles that's in the movies. That's iconic. Two, a honeymoon at Disney. Yeah, it's a theme park. I would totally have a party at a theme park. But like, that's... Let's let it play.
I think to go to Disney and enjoy it, you have to have little kids.
Okay. I have enjoyed myself at Disneyland with my children. I genuinely have. As an adult, would you and I, like, oh, we're in LA, I think we're going to go to Disneyland for the day?
No.
I think it's weird. Do what you want to do. It's a free country. I don't get it. I think maybe we're cold-hearted, horrible people, but also, and maybe more accurately, Disney adults are the weird ones.
And I think, honestly, the weird ones are the great ones. Shout out to all my weirdos. Shout out to all the people that don't do the status quo things, that don't enjoy the most normal, basic things. Shout out to you, and keep doing you and keep being you and thrive in that. You love to draw. You love theme parks. You love weather. You love all these different things. It's perfectly fine. You're not hurting anybody. I think it's totally fine to enjoy Disney World, Disneyland, theme parks. They're great and fun places. And it's crazy because it's one thing I could get behind this idea that you need to have kids with you or only kids should be there if it's a kids designated park. But that's not the case for Disney World, as they have thrill rides that even little kids can't even get on. So the whole thing isn't designed or meant just for little kids. So if you couldn't tell, maybe you know my opinion or bias for Disney adults, and I personally think they're fine. I don't. Listen, if we live in a world where all these super passionate sports fans, people can exist, so can these Disney adults. And I don't understand this big hatred and this like trend of hating on the Disney adults. Are some of them very passionate and can be a little cringe? Yeah, that's anywhere. And I'm not someone that I don't like the rise of like directed hate towards certain groups of people unless they warrant it. Majority, if not all these Disney adults out here, they're minding their business and doing what they want to do. Now that Lily Tino person that's be filming in the Disney bathrooms and talking about genital surgery in front of little children in Disney, that's weird. I will call that out all the time, and I have on the channel, and I'm not going to equate that person to Disney adults. You call out the weird things when they're weird, when they're doing stuff around children and being inappropriate. I'm all cool with that. But majority of these Disney adults are just minding their business, and they should be just left alone. You got these billion-dollar sports stadiums, sports betting, sporting events, tailgating, face painting, all these different events for sports. Let people who don't enjoy sports, or even if they do, but let people who enjoy something different, let them have fun. Let them rejoice. Let them just do their own thing. But let me know in the comments below, do you think opposite of me? One, do you still think that Disney adults are just extremely weird and just should be shunned from society and they should be stopped or put to an end? Or did this video change your mind?
I don't, cause yeah, they're literally people like I'm a sports, guy. I love sports. Always have, always will. Never will be a Disney adult, Lil. But I'm not gonna hate on them, like, ever. So, yeah.
It's extremely weird and just should be shunned from society and it should be stopped or put to an end. Or did this video change your mind a little bit? Did this video give you a little bit of a grace? Did it show you a different perspective? Like, you know what, actually, maybe they should be left alone. Maybe they are fine, especially with what else is out there and all the other obsessions people have. There's really nothing wrong with the Disney adults. Is that your mindset? Let me know in the comments below. I just want to know your thoughts, your opinions, where are you at on this topic? But I had to weigh in on it because I am someone who absolutely loves theme parks, and those are my people. And even if they weren't my people, I'm still gonna, like I said, I don't like Taylor Swift, but I'm gonna defend the Taylor Swift fans because we should let grown adults enjoy the things that they want to do. So I made the whole video about the furries. Let these furries live and exist. I will call out the bad furries when they're out there. Some of the stuff out there is just wrong for children to be around, and I think furries should be like 18 and up. But damn, 18 and up, do you? Do you? So let me know in the comments below where you at on this topic. But as always, I am very grateful for your time and thank you for spending it with me this evening, watching this video, morning, night, wherever time it is, wherever you're at. Thank you for being here. Again, if you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow a ton and help that you know, outside of the topic of this video, talking to you, if you're watching this video or if you're just listening, whatever you're going through, it's called going through for a reason. You're not stuck there, you will survive. I don't know what kind of hell you've been I don't know what kind of hell has been thrown your way, but don't give up. You will be fine. This is just a season of your life. It's called going through it. You're going through it and you'll be good. This is just a season. It will pass and you will be good. So with that being said, hope that you're doing everything in your power to take care of your mental health. Do what you need to do to heal your inner child. And you have goals set in place and you're focusing on you and just you and going about your day. That's all you can do. Tunnel vision, focus on you, call out the bad, highlight the good, and move on with life. So hell. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next video. Deuces.
Alright guys, last video for last video for this episode. Alright guys, long one.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 40.
Autism or autism spectrum disorder. I knew things were weird for me.
I didn't know till I was 48.
But you don't look autistic.
Sounds like someone's got a touch of the tism, if you know what I mean. Not everything is a symptom of autism. Sometimes people just enjoy things. Know what I mean?
I didn't know till I was 48.
But you don't look autistic.
Sounds like someone's got a touch of the tism, if you know what I mean. Not every everything is a symptom of autism. Sometimes people just enjoy things.
It seems like autism is on the rise with Gen Z, and I'll even extend this out to millennials. And a lot of this is due to this rise of content and people finding it relatable and really self-diagnosing themselves in it. And yeah, for some people, it is almost a trend, it seems like, and they're just attaching themselves to this label to be a part of a group and feel something. While for others, it is very serious, and it's oftentimes the first step to really understanding who they are at the core after years of symptoms and things in themselves that have just been overlooked. And I know what that feels like, because even for me, as someone that's clinically diagnosed with ADHD, I knew I was different. I knew things were weird and off, but once I got the diagnosis, it helped me out so much in really helping me understand who I was as a person and how to navigate the world that is best suited for someone with a brain like mine. With that being said, in this video, we're focusing specifically on autism, and although we'll touch on it a little bit, how autism and ADHD do cross a lot of different paths, we'll focus on ADHD in another video and how I personally deal with it now that I am an adult. So be sure to subscribe if you want to be notified on that video. What is autism? Autism, or autism spectrum disorder, is a developmental difference in how someone experiences the world, especially in how they communicate, how they interact with other people around them, and how they process information. And it's called a spectrum because it shows up in a variety of different ways for a lot of different people, but at the end of the day, they also have autism, even though it can vary. From subtle traits to more noticeable ones, every autistic person's experience is unique. Now, a lot of people think of the spectrum as like a straight line where you have less autism and more autism, with the terms like, oh, you have a touch of the tism rising, that's where that's coming from, but that's not really how it works. Autism is more like a color wheel where you have a lot of different varying aspects of your life and how someone experiences the world, and it can really vary by person to person what their unique differences are and how they experience autism, because all these different traits can show up in a variety of different ways for each different person out there. And professionals out there do talk about autism in different levels, but the different levels don't really identify how much autism someone has, but more so how much help they need. Level 1 means requiring support. Maybe you can navigate most of life independently, but certain situations like loud spaces or sudden changes can be tough. Level 2 is requiring substantial support, where differences in communication or sensory processing are more noticeable day to day. And level 3 is requiring very substantial support, where a person may need significant help with routines, communication, or handling the world around them. And I know level 1 sounds like a little bit autistic and level 3 sounds like a lot of bit autistic, but that's not the case. The levels are just a way to understand and plan for the kind of support and environment someone might need to thrive. But at the end of the day, they're both autistic. I mean, going back to that wheel, I know 2 people who be classified as level 3, but they're completely different, like completely different. The only thing they have in common is the amount of support they need on a day-to-day basis. So with that being said, it's not like all 3s are the same and all 1s are the same. No, I know some 1s that have a lot in common with the 3. It's just the only difference is the amount of support that they're needing. Because again, it's literally a spectrum. And because it's a spectrum, that is really what's opened the door for a lot of Gen Z and millennials to really insert themselves into the conversation. It feels like it's everywhere. It feels like everyone's self-diagnosing themselves with autism because we're talking about it more online. TikTok, Reels, Instagram, like all these platforms have opened up the conversation, and it's really served as a place for people to connect and understand. They have become spaces where people are sharing their personal experiences, they're sharing their quirks, they're sharing how they move through the world, and other people are relating with it. And people are spending time consuming this content, and they're saying, oh wait, that kind of sounds like me. But I think what most people fail to realize is just because you can relate with someone doesn't mean you are that someone. People see that autism is on a spectrum and they think that, okay, since it's a spectrum, everybody can be on it, when in reality, again, that's not the case. Truth be told, there's just a lot of people out there right now that are claiming to have autism, when in reality, they're just bored, socially awkward teens that want to be a part of something because they have no identity for themselves. That's just a sad truth, but saying that shouldn't validate all the people who are actually realizing and finding out for themselves that they have autism too. And then there's this whole discussion about, well, it's the vaccines, it's what we're doing to the kids. Could it be? Maybe. And we'll get into that later on in this video, but I want to make it known that we do not have all of the answers. At that, there is so much happening all at once. Our food is more toxic than ever. More women are sharing their experience with using birth control and all the long-term effects that are coming with that. Isolation rates are skyrocketing with the use of technology and people just being recluses, honestly. Those are just 3 examples, but all of that is going on all at the same time, connecting more, we're sharing more of our experiences, and we're understanding what it all means. I mean, off the bat, you're looking at some of these studies and examples from the 80s and 90s. Most of the kids with autism were white kids with money. When you know more people had autism back then was actually reported. Oh, there's a rise in people being autistic, or it's just more accepted and known. Truly, like, I'm on both sides. On one end, it is very irritating seeing all these people watch a couple of reels and then self-diagnose themselves as having autism and making it their entire personality and talking about it online and making it this big ordeal. And on the other side, I'm very happy for the sheer amount of people who are connecting and identifying themselves within these reels and within these TikToks that are out there, and they're really connecting with it, and they're seeking the professional help, and it's actually real, and they're learning the resources, and they're learning more things on how to navigate their lives for the better, and it's actually changing lives. So yeah, like, on one side, it's super annoying and frustrating, and on the other side, I'm very grateful for, and it's exciting to see in these people. Regardless, with all of that being said and outlined, and we have our baseline, let's dive right into a couple different perspectives from people who do have autism and people that don't.
I am a high-masking autistic person.
Do not pay your next car insurance bill. Repeat, do not pay your next bill yet. So I found this website
and this means that on the outside, I'm also seemingly high-functioning. Autism is mostly an invisible disability, and this is why I wish there was more focus on the internal experience of autism. On the outside, I may just seem like a quiet, sometimes socially awkward person. But on the inside, it's a much more rich and oftentimes more challenging experience than what people perceive from the outside. And this isn't anyone's fault. There just aren't many people who understand my internal experience or the internal experience of those who are on the autism spectrum.
And I think this is also a clear example of why, one, more people are identifying with autism and learning more about it and themselves, but two, this points to what we think autism is. It points to, I think, a society and a collective, you think of people who have autism as someone, you think of the kids in the special needs class back in elementary school, middle school, and high school. That's all it is. Like, you think it's that. You think it's someone that you see clearly has special needs. I'm trying to be respectful as possible, but also relatable. You know.
I get what he's trying to say, but yeah.
It has special needs. I'm trying to be respectful as possible, but also relatable. You know. That's what people think of, when in reality, autism shows up in a lot of different ways. And just people that have just put on a mask and they've, like, assimilated into society, when in reality it's very taxing for them. That is a thing. And so, like, outside looking in, it's clear, like, okay, if we know more about autism and we know more about the different spectrum and what it means, it's clear that more people are going to be identifying with it, and it's going to be on the rise. That's just how my brain works. That's how I look at it. If we know autism is more than just the one kid you may see or experience, or the one cousin you may have, whatever it may be, that has the very, you know, lots of stimming, the noises, like, needs the level 3 that needs a lot of help. We know that this includes level 1 and level 2. Obviously, this opens up the door for a lot of more people out there.
Most people don't understand the anxiety that comes along with my autism. Most people don't understand that when I say I'm overstimulated, it's not in a silly, goofy way. It's usually to the point that it's painful. People don't understand how hard it is to have such a rigid brain and a rigid thinking style that when there's something that disrupts my routine, it causes me so much distress to the point that I sometimes will shut down or have an autistic meltdown. People don't understand that I'm not trying to be rude in conversations. I'm not trying to seem better than you. I just don't know how to respond to you. Communication through these videos is a lot easier because there isn't necessarily a dialogue, and I can just speak however I want. I can take as many pauses as I want, but normal conversations are so hard. My brain is like completely blank. It's just so unnatural for me.
And I appreciate this guy sharing his experience, because there are a lot of people, especially in the comment section, that relate with this man. But it's also unfortunate because there are a lot of people out there who look at this man and say, okay, he doesn't look like he has autism. He's talking to a camera. He's completely fine. When maybe we should be more empathetic to people and understand and hear them out. I understand there are some bad apples that ruin the experience for people who actually deal with autism. But on the other side, we should still have some patience and understand where these people are coming from. Because I can already hear some people being like, oh, just grow up, pansy, or he's just being a pussy, or he needs to do this or that, when clearly, if there are thousands, millions of people relating to content like this and really trying to put to words what they've been experiencing their entire lives. Maybe there's something to it, and maybe for those who are very neurotypical, for those that don't have autism, don't have ADHD, whatever it may be, to just pause and kind of take in what these people are saying.
Autism and ADHD are just labels. You're perfectly fine. You don't need a label like that. These are the labels I had before my diagnosis. Spoiled brat, difficult, control freak, weirdo, high maintenance, annoying, bitch, rude, self-centered, bossy, temperamental, sensitive, black sheep, too much, dramatic. Not enough, try hard, teacher's pet, attention whore, show off, know-it-all, ditzy, bad listener, gullible, chaotic, misbehaved. The list goes on. These labels caused me to develop depression and anxiety. I thought I was broken and unfixable, when in reality, I just had undiagnosed autism and ADHD. My autism and ADHD label diagnosis saved my life, and I don't think I'd still be here if I hadn't been diagnosed. So instead of being scared of the autism or ADHD diagnosis, think about what other labels are being forced onto and ingrained into undiagnosed people. We deserve answers.
Facts. Again, I'll save the ADHD and my experience with that for another video, but this video is so true and relatable in the sense that very quick to judge someone. It's like, oh, well, I have autism, or oh, I have ADHD, or I have depression, or I have anxiety. Sometimes we're very quick to judge those people for having these labels, when in reality, like, you're still labeling them no matter what, with all these different names and bullying and judgments. You're still casting different labels and how you're viewing them yourself, especially for all the people who are neurotypical, or if we want to just break it down and just say normal. For anyone that doesn't act normal, they're oftentimes bullied, they're oftentimes called names. Oh, you're doing it wrong, or why you're always messing it up, or you're acting special, you're being weird. The list can go on, when in reality, their experience isn't wrong. The way they're going through life isn't wrong. It's just not neurotypical. It's called having autism. It's called having ADHD. And that label in itself, and knowing that, and having that baseline and understanding that about yourself, saves more lives than people may realize. Because yeah, on one end, autism is rising and it's trending and more people are diagnosing themselves with it, but there's also a rise in people actually getting clinically diagnosed, actually seeking out and getting the help that they need to understand how to navigate this world that's best for them. So at the end of the day, the person is still here. That person, they're not necessarily changing. Yeah, they got diagnosed with autism, but they've always had autism. Yeah, they got diagnosed with ADHD, but they've always had ADHD. This isn't something that you're just catching. This isn't something that's just spreading around. No, it's real things that people are going through, experiencing, and getting help for. Even for me, like when I was out in college and I was actually living on my own for once, I quickly, immediately saw that, oh, I'm very different. I already know what's different in high school. Like, I was voted most unique. I always spent time with the teachers. I never really was in lunch. I never really had like a friend group. I hopped around a lot. I knew how I was navigating things was very different than the average person out there, but I never knew how to put to words what I was feeling or what I was dealing with. I knew something was off extremely to the point where I did drop out and I did take a year off because I just didn't understand. Like, I changed my major 7 times, you guys. Like, I just didn't know how to navigate anything. But what I did know is that I needed to seek professional help, and that's what I did, and I'm glad I did, because now I have the tools to best understand myself, and I know what works for people that have a brain like me and what doesn't work. And that's why I'm so excited to partner with today's sponsor, BetterHelp, because they make this first step of seeking professional help way less overwhelming. BetterHelp will connect you to a licensed therapist who can actually help you get to the root of whatever you're dealing with, whether it's childhood trauma, addiction, or just talking through all the thoughts that are going off on your head. They will help get you sorted, because I've been there. Instead of just sitting there in your room and thinking to yourself, what is wrong with me? You can just actually have these conversations with someone who's trained to help you find these real answers to the things that you're questioning about yourself. Here's how it works. You take a quick questionnaire, and in a couple of days you'll be matched with a licensed therapist. And after you guys talk, if it's not the right fit, you can switch to a different therapist at no cost. Regardless, they make sure that every therapist on the platform is well trained and qualified, and their customer support team is always there to help you out. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. And I can't stress this enough, therapy isn't a sign of weakness. It is a tool that helps you understand yourself, a tool that helps you process the thoughts in your head, and a tool to help you figure out how to navigate the world that's best for you. To get started, tap the link below that'll take you to betterhelp.com/AmirOdom to get you 10% off your first month.
Have you ever wondered why there's so many more people diagnosed with autism than there was even 5, 10, 15 years ago?
And the Prophet ﷺ said the best form of charity is giving water. Maybe you're the answer to someone's...
Let's talk about it. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with vaccines. So, if we look at this chart here, we can see that back in 2000, about 1 in every 150 children was diagnosed with autism in the US. While now, fast forward 20 years to 2020, that number is now 1 in 36. And that is a really big increase. But a lot of times people will start to freak out and they'll start to talk about how there's something that's clearly causing kids to be born with something that's affecting their brains. But as far as we can tell, if we look at statistics and we look at the data that we actually have, that's not actually the case. What is actually happening is that we've always been here. Autistic people have always been here. But I was born in 93 and I wasn't diagnosed for another 21 years. So we were always here. Autistic people were always here when I was...
Yeah, I mean, I think about, there's a rise in a bunch of people being gay. There is, for a small minority of people, it is a trend and they're trying to fit in, much like with autism. But a large chunk of the gays have always been there and they're still there. There's so many people identifying as straight when they're everything but, or they mess around with dudes on the low, or they have in the past. That's its own conversation. It reminds me of the left-handed conversation that I mentioned earlier. Oh, there's this big rise in people that are left-handed. Oh, they've always been there. It's just been stigmatized that maybe they shouldn't use that hand. And then now we're in a world that's more accepting of these people. And it just points back to this rise of technology and people sharing their experiences. More things are becoming relatable. We're able to connect more with one another and highlight these different things and experiences, and we're identifying it. It's easier to just call out and see. When we look back at this data, you go back to the year 1990, 1995, 2000, the people that have autism were typically the level 3 people. No one ever talked about level 1 and level 2, and a lot of the terms changed between Asperger's and autism and all the different levels, and the whole thing has opened up, and a lot more people are making connections, and a lot more people are sharing their experiences, and that's what people are relating to. And just because we see a sharp rise in something doesn't always mean that there's something major going on or causing it. Can there be? For sure. There totally can be something out there, but there doesn't always have to be that way, especially when I'm looking around at all these... with all due respect, some of these crunchy mom influencers and the Novaks and know this, know that, completely cleaned out, like the full 9. I've seen some of their kids have a lot of problems. I've seen some of their births have a lot of problems. It's like, we don't know everything. We just don't. And to say that, oh, well, it's 100%, 10% vaccines that are causing autism, y'all, there's so much going on. There's so much around us, so much that we're being infected with. Who really knows? And that, like I said before, we already know the sheer amount of people that they've always been there. Like this girl, she's always been around, just never was a part of any statistic out there.
Diagnosed at 21, my dad realized that he was also autistic. And then we realized that his mom was also autistic. So autistic people have always been here. But when you look at how much better we are at recognizing autism, because we understand that autism is more than just the most stereotypical traits of autism now. So more people qualify for the diagnosis because now we actually understand what autism really is. We're not only diagnosing the most obvious, most stereotypical cases, we're diagnosing even the ones that are a little bit harder to notice. So that right there is going to increase numbers by a lot. And then also, because as we learned more, we have adjusted the criteria that it takes to qualify for being autistic. That is also changing the numbers, because now we're recognizing more people that simply weren't being recognized before.
And that's a good point. We're just literally noticing and calling out more of the people that just weren't ever recognized in the past. So of course, we're going to see the number rise no matter what. Much like the gay example, we're going to see way more people identify as gay. Plot twist, because it's more acceptable. We're fine with it. There's not all these lavender marriages and all these people in the closet suppressing it. There is, but they're all in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Hello. But the gay men, they're still out there. The people with autism, they're still out there. There's so many people who are undiagnosed, especially the later on, the boomers and the Gen X. That is a thing that's out there. When we look back at their lives, look back at their childhood, look back at their family history and different patterns and how they act, and if they really sit down and thought about it, damn, it was way prevalent back then too. It just wasn't the whole stereotypical thing that most people think about.
I didn't know until very recently. So when I was 48, I didn't know till I was 48. So my whole life I was like, why is this so hard? And then when you know, you're like, oh, all of those.
Perfect example. All these late diagnoses and people actually, going getting testing or understanding who they are, and this whole time they've been living this life, not a part of any statistic. They're just a quote unquote normal person or neurotypical person, when in reality, this is someone with autism and just got diagnosed later on in life. Therefore, he's always been there, and that would have made the numbers in them charts go like that. Instead of the numbers rising, it's going like that, where it's kind of leveling out because the late diagnosis is happening.
Oh, it's not that. It's that now everything makes sense. It's like such a gift to be given that information. Relive your life real quick and go, oh yeah, all those things are this, not that.
Grow thicker, fuller hair in as few as 3 to 6 months with doctor-trusted ingredients. Hims prescription hair.
And then you can also move forward in a different way, because now you have like an understanding and some new tools and skills and things, and you're like, oh, now I can navigate these situations differently. So you start to change.
This is the best part about getting an actual diagnosis and getting actual help with these things, whether it be autism or ADHD, because it unlocks so many tools and resources to you that you can learn, like, oh, damn, I thought I was just difficult. I thought I was just hard to deal with. I thought something was just wrong with me. When in reality, there's a lot more people out there dealing with the same things I'm dealing with in my head. And these are the tools that I use and what I do to keep my brain organized, keep files here, and stay on a routine. They're just, you move through life differently. You really do. And there's a lot of people out there who are starting to understand this in themselves, connect with people, and doing the, self-diagnosing, but going down the path of actually getting diagnosed. And then that's changing lives out there. And I'm glad to see that. And that's why it does make me upset seeing, a certain subset and a rise of people in Gen Z and millennials who are clinging to this, saying they have autism and making it their whole personality, or just claiming to have something that they don't, just to fit in because they have one quirk, or they're a little bit awkward here, or they act like this over here. It's like, it's more than that. It really is.
And then things start to go better. I used to have meltdowns like every day since you know me. Every day. And now it's like almost never. I understand why things affect me the way they do, like smells or sounds or whatever. I'm no longer just instantly like, oh my God, everything sucks, the smell, the sound, whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm sensitive to that because of the way my brain is and whatever. So you have
That's
different
so
ways
wholesome.
you can cope
That's so
with
awesome.
it, because you're like, oh, it's that, not just that I don't understand it. If you already know, you know already anyway. Like if he's saying what he's saying, he knows. But if you want to have the actual, like, someone who's a professional tell you, then you go and you do it and you're like, of course. And then you go to therapy and you're like, oh, this isn't actually as bad as it felt like it was my entire life. Like I lived 48 years like a disaster, and 4 years now with like knowing who I am, and this is way better.
It's way better for a lot of people out there, and people have this view of what autism is in their head, or that's this huge negative thing and that it's extremely bad, when it's literally just a different pathway of how a brain works. The same with a different pathway of how someone's eyes are. Yes, these are, a lot of people don't know this. I have laser eye surgery. This is something I already hear. Somebody's like, this is a scam. They're blue light glasses, because I still have very sensitive eyes. I have dry eye syndrome, like nobody's business. Always had very dry eyes, even before laser eye surgery. But I wear these just because I'm looking at screens all day long. But the same way someone's vision's different, the same way somebody's brain can be wired different. It's just, I don't know, the same way a lot of people wear glasses to help fix their vision. It's the same way there's a lot of people out there, whether it be autism or ADHD, that have the same kind of spectrum or neural pathway of how their brain works, and they have to move through life a different way. And that's okay. We're all different. But again, just because you have something in common with someone who has autism doesn't mean you automatically have autism. Like that's also not how it works.
This Gen Z stare thing, it just is funny because it's like y'all swore y'all had autism, and it really was just y'all have no social skills. That's just really what it is. And I honestly, I really thought that the COVID thing was an excuse, but I guess it really did do a number on y'all, because that was right before y'all was going to high school. Some of y'all was like going to be your last year of high school.
COVID did mess up a lot of teens out there, the late Gen Z. It did do a number, and I'm very curious how COVID is going to affect Gen Alpha. We already see some remnants of it happening. I made a video on it before, but this is a thing. Like the caption says, you don't have autism, you're just a Gen Z with no social skills. That exists. There are people out there that are Gen Z or millennials, whatever it may be. You just don't have social skills. And just because you don't have social skills doesn't mean you have autism. That's not how that works. You can't just like watch a TikTok and like, oh my gosh, damn, I'm bad with social skills too, or damn, I get a little bit drained around people too, I must have autism. No, that's not how that works. And there's a lot of people out there doing that, and it's just not the case. You're just socially awkward because you were stuck in the house for 2-3 years in one of the most developmental times in your life, and that's it.
He was fired just 3 weeks before he was set to retire.
And now he's becoming an industry whistleblower.
But you don't look autistic. You don't act autistic. Baby, I'm autistic. Right? I don't know what to tell you. One, it's super offensive to say, but you don't look autistic, right? Autism doesn't have a look. And I know that you think it's a compliment by like DMing me or leaving comments on my posts that are like, but you're so attractive. How could you be autistic? That is so ableist and incredibly offensive. I can't even say it, right? I've been diagnosed 3 different times in my life. 3. Not once, not twice, but thrice, okay? Once as a child, but no one ever told me. So I got diagnosed again as an adult when I was seeing my therapist, and then a year later, I had a psychiatrist and medical doctor diagnose me. And here's the thing, I trust them because they're experts, right? We're not experts because we're online scrolling, we see someone who's autistic and we follow them and we're like, oh, that's what autism looks like now, or my cousin's autistic, or my brother's autistic. And so I'm an expert now because I know what it looks like. You know what it looks like for them.
Right.
Right. You're not an expert, and that's okay. I'm an expert. 1, because I'm autistic, so I'm an expert of me. But 2, I'm an expert because I'm a clinical social worker. So I trust myself as a human to know that I'm autistic. I trust myself, as a clinical therapist to know I'm autistic, and I trust my doctors who diagnosed me, right? So I just...
Valid. And autism doesn't have a look. Sure, there may be some traits that people share, but for the most part, that's not always the case, in that autism has a look. And that goes to show how we view disabilities, in at least in America, how we view disabilities and how we view someone with autism, how we expect them to look or how we expect them to be. Are there some people where you can tell something may be, not typically normal? For sure, whatever, but that's not always the case. And just because you can't clearly tell doesn't mean they don't have something or that they're making it up, because like this guy said, he's been tested 3 different times.
That is extremely ableistic, guys. Like, oh man, yeah.
He has it, it's fine, but it's like to say, oh, but you don't look autistic, it's kind of wild. In case you're wondering, you're probably not autistic, you're just weird. I love that. The world is overstimulating, it's not you. Are there people out there who actually have autism, finding out things about themselves and moving through the world a different way that works best for them? Yes. Are there people out there actually getting clinically diagnosed? Yes. However, are there people who are just trying to cling on to something, to feel something, to be a part of an identity, to be a part of this community and just say they have something just to say they have it? For sure. I've seen it firsthand. I see it all the time. It's like you're just quirky. You're just a little weird. You just have a special hobby. But none of this automatically means that you have a touch of autism or that you're autistic. No, you're just someone that's a little bit different, and that's totally fine. Because we also have to remember there's a lot of things that we're experiencing as humans that are that's completely new to us. Technology, all of this stuff is new, and we're all navigating.
Okay, I don't know why he said tech, because technology, it's not, at least to me, technology is not really new. Like, I don't know, guys.
In our own different worlds, and how we're interacting with it is different, and what it's doing to us is different. Guys versus girls, that there's so much going on. It's already affecting our behaviors and how we move through the world. So we can't just associate, oh, well, I have this one thing in common with this person that's autism, or this one trait, therefore I have it or have a little touch. No, you're probably fine, and that's okay. This world is overstimulating. There's so much going on, so many different changes. You're more than likely good.
Hot take, not everything is autism. I know, hear me out. There seems to be a significant population on this app that believes that if you have a certain interest towards something and you develop skills in that subject, and God forbid you have a deeper than average understanding of that subject, you have autism. Like, let's say that you're a kid that grew up watching anime and the animations piqued your interest. And you say, wow, I would really like to learn how to draw like that. So what do? Over the next 5 to 10 years, you spend thousands of hours and thousands of dollars honing your skill. I'm talking you learn how to draw back and you decide to post a video of your progress. Hey guys, look, what a lot of people wholeheartedly good at something is time, passion, and persistence. A little display of personality and passion as autism, you kind of invalidate their day-to-day lives.
Yes.
Now, that's not to say that you're not on the spectrum. You very well might be. But unless a medical professional diagnoses you with that, don't let TikTok do it for you. If you have any concerns about your mental health, please go get checked out by your person that went to school to help you.
Yes, go get actual help, go get an actual diagnosis, go learn about it more, but don't take 2, 3 TikToks and say, yep, that's me, I see myself in that, I have autism, we're done, it's done. It's like we can't. I'll have another video, so be sure to subscribe, just focusing on the sheer amount of self-diagnosing that people have been doing and are doing. But again, it's bittersweet because self-diagnosis is oftentimes the first step, the first path to actually getting a real diagnosis. So it's helping people, but on the other side, it is invalidating a lot of the lived experiences for the people that actually do have said thing that they're being diagnosed with. Like, it doesn't account for the everyday experience and the little troubles and the little things that go on with somebody who actually has autism. You just have people out here just clinging on to something and just, again, wanting to relate, wanting to be a part of something. In reality, that's not the case. It's possible to hone a craft. It's possible to be passionate about a topic. It's possible to just be interested in something and not have autism. It's okay. Like, you're good. And in doing so, and in claiming all these people saying, oh, I have autism, I have a touch of autism, you must, the ones that comment, oh, you must be autistic because of this, you're invalidating so much of what someone with autism actually goes through, and it's just not cool.
So I've started getting into like puzzles and stuff on the weekends. Oh, sounds like someone's got a touch of the tism, if you know what I mean. Not everything is a symptom of autism. Sometimes people just enjoy things.
Thanks to Restore, Prime Time is back.
This is my time.
I didn't want to be bald any longer.
I was thinking we could do one together.
Accurate. Not everything is a symptom of having autism or having ADHD, whatever it may be. It's not always the case, and there's a lot of people in Gen Z and late millennials doing this. And I hope that we'll get away from this trend of people saying every little thing is autistic. So I hope this video helped explain a little bit to you off the bare bones what autism is, what people actually go through and experience, and the different reasons as to why more Gen Z and even late millennials are identifying as having autism. Because yeah, there's a lot of information out there being spread. There's a lot of people sharing their lived experiences and the things that they're going through, and there is a good chunk of people relating to that. They relate with it, they're identifying themselves in it, and through that, they go out and seek the actual help, and then they learn that they actually are autistic. And then boom, like that millennial guy said, there's so much more that makes sense about yourself and looking back on your life, and you can change and navigate the world in a different way. Extremely helpful to a lot of people out there. And on the flip side, there's a lot of people that just says every little thing is autism, and they're just identifying with it to be a part of a trend and join a community, and they are the ones that's like ruining it and ruining the lived experience of the people that actually deal with it. Because there's nothing wrong with having autism. There's nothing wrong with seeing yourself in a video and, to a certain extent, self-diagnosing yourself, but then going down the route of actually getting a diagnosis. There's nothing wrong with that. And we're seeing this rise because more people are seeing the lived experiences of other people that are just like them. Because when you have autism, or even when you have ADHD, there's a laundry list of the tiniest little quirks, the tiniest little things that all stack and add up. And it's like, damn, like that's a real thing that I can relate with, and then I can communicate and work through with somebody. And it's because of this, and I'll focus on this in another video, why there's this huge rise of people who are having these late diagnoses. And it's these late diagnoses that deserve more attention, because on one end, there's a lot of people saying, oh, more people are being born with it, and more people have autism than ever before compared to the year 2000. Okay, well now, all the people that were born in 1980, 1990, and 2000, they're identifying as having autism, and they're clinically being diagnosed as having such. Therefore, they were never a part of that graph or that study to begin with, so it doesn't even show or match up. So it's like, it makes sense. Like, of course, we're seeing it rise more, but you're also seeing that number rise too because of all the people that are late diagnosed. You see what I'm trying to say? Like that's actually a thing. And then yes, Like I said before, there's this trend, and that's why there's a rise in Gen Z, especially with COVID and the social isolation that came from that. People are just more awkward. People just don't know how to act in public. People just are lacking social skills, but it's not always because they're autistic. A lot of the times because of what our world is right now and how we all communicate and operate as is. But this will be the first of many videos that will be talking about mental health and talking about the different struggles and ways that other people operate through life, whether it is autism, whether it be ADHD, and you know, even for me, how my life was before and after getting diagnosed, and understanding and relating to other different people out there. It's, again, we'll save that for another video, but this is the first of many videos to come on this topic of mental health and the things that people are going through. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and like. It helps the channel grow a ton, and send this off to somebody that you think might relate with this, or you know, you've been talking to a group of friends about, because I do think, yeah, you know, autism rates are rising, but I feel like it's always also been there. Yeah, you got this group, this subset of people that are trying to fit in, but a lot of the times it's fine to have autism, okay? It's not a bad thing. And there's people out there that deserve to be recognized and respected. So let me know in the comments below too, was this relatable to you? Are you someone with autism? Are you someone who has someone with autism in your life? Level 1 through 3, even for yourself, are you on the spectrum? Are you a late diagnosis? Are you like a late Gen Z, early, late millennial, or even Gen X, honestly, that's looking back in your life like, damn, I am autistic? Let me know in the comments below. Let's connect. Share your stories if you're open to it. We'd love to connect with y'all in the comments and help you guys, you know, foster this community of people who have each other's back, because that's what my supporters do. Y'all are absolutely amazing, and I am very appreciative of you spending your time here. And again, like in every single video, I hope that you know that you are in more control of your life than you may realize. You just lock in tunnel vision, focus on you and only you, and you will achieve everything and anything you put your mind to. And then whatever you're going through in life right now, it's called going through it for a reason. You're not stuck there. You will survive. I don't know what the hell you got going on, any type of drama, family, life, relationships, school, work, it doesn't matter. It will pass and you will be good. So just keep on holding on, trucking through. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Deuces.
Alright guys, that is it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will be back tomorrow for another episode of you know, what I'm doing. So, you know, stay tuned for tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah guys.